guys, welcome to Kima's Never Seen It. I'm Kima, and the movie we're going to be talking about today is Anchorman. Again, another movie that has all these memes and all these sayings that I had no idea about, but I watched the movie, so I know now. And before we get into the movie, let's go ahead and see what it's about based on the DVD cover summary. Will Ferrell is Ron Burgundy, a top-rated 1970s San Diego anchorman who believes women have a place in the newsroom as long as they stick to covering fashion shows or late-breaking cooking stories. So when Ron is told he'll be working with a bright young newswoman who is beautiful, ambitious, and smart enough to be more than eye candy, it's not just a clash of two people with really great hair. It's war. Filled with wicked wit and slapstick humor, Anchorman is the year's most widely irreverent, must-see comedy hit. Just like the message in Barbie, a movie that is about, misogyny, the patriarchy, all that good stuff. So, I mean, it was of the times. But to start off with the movie, we start off with, of course, Ron Burgundy. He is the anchorman for Channel 4 News. And in the movie, it really goes to show, way back then, that the anchorman or people on the news were very trusted. Everything that they said was basically true, which back then, without fact checking and Google and things like that, people really believed whatever. Because are you going to go to the library and break out some encyclopedias or something to fact check it? No. That's why so many things have been spread that just aren't true. But along with him, there's three other men. They're part of the Channel 4, news gang. We have Champ Kind. He is the sports analyst, and he's kind of erratic. We have Brick Tamlin, who covers the weather, and he's not very bright, but same, so I just roll with it. And we have Brian Fantana. He is the field reporter, and he is a self-proclaimed ladies man. So all around San Diego, everybody tunes in to Channel 4 News. Again, they trust Ron with everything that he says. Everything he says has to be true. Who's going to check him?
Who gonna check me, boo?
And I also didn't know that Stay Classy San Diego was part of this movie. So that's where that meme comes from.
You stay classy, San Diego.
They're once again number one in ratings. It looks like they usually are, and they decide to have a little pool party, a little house party. Many women are coming up to Ron and being like, hey, Ron, how's it going? Trying to hit on him and stuff. But he notices a woman that he hasn't seen before in the distance, so he just ignores them to go where she is. He doesn't have game. He's not very good at picking up women, it looks like.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
And pickup lines also aren't his strong suit.
I want to be on you. Wait.
So the woman ends up walking away because, again, what did you just say to me? And then after the whole party, the pool party and stuff, he goes back home with his dog, Baxter, kind of tells him about the woman a little bit because they have this banter. I get it. I talk with my girls. They don't listen to me, but I talk with them, so I get it. The next morning, everybody's hungover. Everybody's tired from the party that they had the night before. And the big boss comes in. He's just like, there is this panda called Ling Wang. This is going to be the story we're covering because she is pregnant. So we want to make sure that we keep up to date with this panda and we keep up with this story so we can remain number one. With that being said, they need a lot of coverage to be able to, report on this story. And they decided to go ahead and bring in some more people, some more reinforcements. And the lady who we met last night ends up coming in. Her name's Veronica Cornerstone. They said that they need more diversity. DEI, isn't that hilarious?
What in the hell's diversity?
Well, I could be wrong, but I believe diversity is an old wooden ship that was used during the Civil War era.
They bring her on as being one of the newscasters along with Ron. They're not very happy that this is going on because, patriarchy.
It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady, and that is a scientific fact, huh?
But she's going to be there. She's going to be reporting the news. She's going to be working alongside of them. And there's really nothing they can do about it. But Veronica's not worried because she has dealt with situations like this before. But she has the knowledge. She has the background. She's a journalist. So she has the qualifications to be able to do the job. After that, the boys go out for, I think, corn dogs or something. And they're kind of just talking with each other, trying to like get themselves through it and be like, okay, if this is what it is, then whatever. And they run into West Mantooth and the rest of the Channel 9 gang. West Mantooth is Vince Vaughn. And I just want to say, Vince Vaughn, I love his laugh. His laugh, I think the first movie I ever saw him in was Be Cool. And I've heard him laugh in there. And I didn't think that was his real laugh. But I mean, it's in this movie too, so I love it. I absolutely love it.
Am I right? Am I right? Look at these guys.
They have beef with Channel 4 News because, again, Channel 4 News is number 1. Channel 9 ended up coming number 2 in the rating, so they have this beef going on. And they have like a little back and forth, but ended up separating. Back in the office, again, Veronica, she's new in town. And because she is this beautiful lady, of course, these men just, I don't know if sexual harassment trainings and things like that were very prevalent back in the 1970s. I would guess not, because each one of the boys tried to go and hit on her. Champ fails by trying to touch her breast, and she gets him good. In the huevos, she gets him really good. Brian fails by wearing some nasty ass perfume, or no, cologne, that I guess just smells like dirty anything that you can think of. The worst rotting smell ever. Brian fails because, again, he's not too smart, and the pickup line that he uses, he doesn't quite understand it, and it just doesn't work out.
Are you saying that there's a party in your pants and that I'm invited?
That's it.
And Ron also fails by trying to be like, oh, I just did 1,000 bicep curls, look at my muscles and all this kind of stuff. But he ends up winning in the end. He kind of went out and followed her and just like, sorry, like, I know what it's like being the new one in town, and I guess I'm just nervous, da-da-da-da-da. And then she actually agrees to like go out on some dinner with him. So in the end, he won, not the way that he wanted to, but he did win. Side note, there are a lot of scenes in this movie where we see people smoking inside. That's crazy. I know that now we have like vapes and stuff, and people try to get away with vaping inside, which is, I guess, essentially is the same thing. It just doesn't smell bad. But smoking cigarettes inside, crazy. Especially people who do it around kids. They would like smoke and blow it in people's or babies' faces. Ash on their head. Like, that's insane. So Ron and Veronica actually go out for dinner. Now, Veronica's actually pretty attracted to Ron, but she's just like, no, we're coworkers. Separate it. Don't bring this into work. With respect, girl. Don't. Hey, y'all listening out there. Don't date your coworkers. But she's like, I need to separate the two. They end up going to dinner. It's really nice. They're just talking and all this kind of stuff. Ron's just like, I want to be like a lead news anchor. I want to be like that bitch. And Veronica's just like, me too. I also want to be that bitch. So they share the same kind of dream, which is really, really nice. At that same place, Ron has been there a lot, and I guess he's a regular with playing the flute. So he plays this little flute number, and honestly, it's actually really good. Obviously, it wasn't Ron or Will Ferrell actually playing the flute, but it sounded nice. So after that, Ron and Veronica again keep bonding over wanting to be a network anchor, bonding about, the way he played the flute and how good it was. And that's enough for them to go to Pleasure Town. Again, in these movies, I'm trying to figure it out, because with Oppenheimer, physics and science was enough to get into people's draws. I can understand music being something that could get me personally. Being, the news world, I would just be like, oh yeah, that's cool. But music, that might be one. I'm just trying to figure out like how what conversations people are having and how that would affect me. News, physics, don't do it. Music, maybe. But they end up having sex. And of course, they're just like, we need to keep this on the low. We need to keep this under wraps. We can't let everybody know because it's just not good for business. And if we're going to keep doing this, just need to keep it under the table. Ron does not do that. He even said it on the news. He was doing his spot where Veronica, I forgot what she was covering, but she was covering something. It came back to Ron. He's just like, oh yeah, that's Veronica. She's new. And we're also in love.
She's really great. I'd also like to share with you that we are currently dating and that she is quite a handful in the bedroom.
It's crazy. This is why we can't have nice things. And then the boys are starting to get all sad because there's like, you're spending all your time with Veronica. We miss you. We don't really do the things that we used to do anymore. Like, what's going on with that? It's a lot. So after all of that, there's another scene where Ron is driving and he has Baxter, his dog, in the car. and he's eating, singing, having a good time, and he throws his half-eaten burrito out the window. Let me also say, there's a theme in this movie where they just get rid of half-eaten food. Like earlier, they were in the park, they all had corn dogs, and they just threw them half-eaten on the ground. Now you have this much of a burrito, and you're gonna throw it out the window? What's up with this waste? But he throws it out the window. He ends up hitting a motorcyclist. Is that the right term? A motorcycle driver? A motorcycle man. He hits him. He falls off of his bike and it skirts everywhere. And then Ron gets out the car and he's just like, oh my God, that was crazy. You all right? The guy's bike is all scratched up. It might be broken and ruined. And he's just like, I love that bike with everything in my life. Is there something that you love? And Ron's just like, I mean, well, I love my dog right here. The man picks up the dog and kicks it over the bridge and he just goes in the water. He's gone. He punted his dog. Obviously wrong, but also hilarious. That is that's so funny. So while this is happening, everybody's at the news station and they're just like, oh my God, Ron's spot is coming on. Where is he? He's supposed to be here. Again, Ron is stuck on the road with the man who punted his dog. And Veronica's just like, if Ron doesn't show up, I'm going to fill in his spot because who else is going to do it? Of course, the lead man is just like, no, you can't do that. But she's just like, I'm gonna. There's nothing you can do. The show must go on. So Ron calls her to the station. He tries to explain what happened to the dog, but he's crying a lot. Someone just threw his dog in water. So it's hard for him to pick up the words. And he's talking to Brian, and Brian's just like, listen, I don't know what's going on with you, but Veronica's about to take your spot. So if you don't get here soon, she's going to report on the news. A woman. So once Ron hears that, now he's just like, oh no, there's no way a woman can take my spot on the news. I'm running to the station. So he's running to the station. While he's on his way, the boys are trying to distract Veronica from doing the news, but she does a great job. She doesn't let them distract her. She doesn't lose her focus, and she does her news story perfectly fine. She does so good that now her and Ron share the news spot with each other. So they're both, the face of Channel 4 News instead of it just being Ron. He's not happy about it, but she's there. They're trying a lot of tactics to make her quit or make her think that she shouldn't be there. But of course, they're not smart. So she's not falling for any of it. So then they're just like, you know what? You know what will make us feel some better? Huh? You know what will make us feel better? Some retail therapy. Let's go get some clothes. They go to get some clothes. Why they followed Brian's directions, I don't know, but they end up getting lost and going through all these alleys and stuff. And then Channel 9 News finds them and they're just like, hey, what's up? I heard y'all got taken over by a woman. Crazy. And then because of that, they decide that they're going to fight it out. But then all these other news stations start coming in. There's the World News. There's the Spanish News. There's, I think, Channel 7 or something like that. They're a channel that nobody watches, apparently. They're all coming. And they all come together to fight. It's a full-on brawl. They're all fighting, jousting. So, they're doing a lot of stuff. And then another meme that I didn't know this was from this movie, where it's just like, whoa, that escalated quickly.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Where have I been? I know there's a reason why I'm doing this channel, but where have I been? But after that scene, again, we're back into the newsroom. Again, Ron is trying to sabotage Veronica in some kind of way. And she's like, I'm not going to take this anymore. I'm going to fight back. Figuratively and literally. She also had a dinner with the girls in the newsroom. And one of them is just like, listen, Ron will read anything that's on that prompter. If it's written out, he'll read it and not even think twice about it. So Veronica gets an idea.
From the entire Channel 4 News team, I'm Veronica Corningstone.
And I'm Ron Burgundy. Go fuck yourself, San Diego.
Because of this, Ron is fired. People of San Diego hate him. Because why would you say that about your city? Why? No, he didn't even realize that he said it. He just read what was on the prompter, just like planned. He spirals really fast. The boys won't talk to him because they were told if they do talk to him or get caught hanging out with him, he would be fired. And Veronica feels bad, but she doesn't have the words to talk to him about it because she knows that she's part of the reason why he got fired, obviously. But it's just like, what can I say? Then we go to 3 months later. Now they're still covering the panda story. Lang Wang, I believe, is the panda's name. And the panda is about to give birth. So all the news stations are coming to the zoo because everybody wants the perfect shot of this panda. They want to be able to cover it so that they could be #1 amongst all the news stations. So Veronica's there. She gets the perfect spot and she's calling her cameraman to come over. And as she's doing that, another news person comes in and is trying to talk to her and ends up pushing her into a bear's den when she's not paying attention. So Ron's still around. Bushy beard, looking crazy, but he's still around and he's at a bar and the bar gets a call. Now it's Ed, which is the big boss of the newsroom. I never mentioned his name, but his name is Ed. He's just like, yo, is Ron there? Ron picks up the phone. He's just like, hello. And then Ed is just like, listen, we don't know where Veronica is. We don't know what's going on, but we need you to come back to cover this story. And Ron is just like, you need me to cover the news? Am I back in? He's just like, yes, you're back. Now come on. And then Ron gets off the phone, goes into the bathroom for 6 seconds, and comes out all fresh and ready for his news story. Now that he's back, the gang can be with him without guilt, and they're looking for the perfect shot. And they go to where Veronica was by the bear's den and notice that Veronica is in there. Ron decides to jump in there with her. Don't know what the logic was behind that, but he regretted it immediately. And then they're both in there. The bears are awake and the boys decide to jump in as well to fight the bears.
If you ever see me fighting in the forest with a grizzly bear, help the bear, because that bitch gonna need it.
They're not doing very well because they're bears, but then out of nowhere, Baxter, the dog, comes in and he saves them. He talks with the bears and just like, listen, I've met your species before. Do you know this person? The bear's just like, that's my cousin. And then the dog is just like, listen, we're all friends. Just let them go. They don't know what was going on. And the bears let them go. So they're rescued out of the bear's den. And then Ron and Veronica are able to cover the story about Ling Wang's pregnancy and childbirth. And then they end up living happily ever after. Well, most of them. Champ ends up being a sports commentator for the NFL, which is really, really nice. He was a sports analyst on the Channel 4 News, but he got fired for sexual harassment. Who would have thought? Brian ended up becoming a host of a reality TV show called Intercourse Island, which I think we have shows like that now. They're just not called that name. And then Brick actually ends up getting married, having 11 kids, and becomes the top political advisor for the Bush administration. Daddy Bush, obviously. And then Ron and Veronica ended up staying together. They moved from Channel 4 News to the World News and became the first mixed gender news anchors. And that's it. So this movie got a 66% on Rotten Tomatoes. And what I will say is this is a movie that was of the times. It doesn't age too well. It still makes sense. I mean, highlighting patriarchy, misogyny, and things like that, you know, that's fine. But, you know, there's some language in there that we don't really use anymore. But again, it's covering the 1970s and how they would talk back then. So again, it's just of the times. Do I think 66 is fair? Maybe. I mean, above average, yes. It was a pretty funny movie. It had some good parts in there where I was actually chuckling. And maybe 70s, like low 70s. But honestly, nothing more than that personally. But again, it's just crazy to me. I've seen all these memes and different sayings from this movie. And I've never seen it. I've never seen it. Who would have thought? Kima's never seen it.
Who would have thought? Not me.
Well, that's the movie, you guys. That's a movie for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. If there's something in this video that you agree with, don't agree with, you want to say how amazing I did, or have any other movie suggestions, please leave them down in the comments below. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, comment, do everything. Tell everyone about my channel. Tell your parents, your grandparents, aunts, uncles, animals. I lost my train of thought. I don't know what happened, but tell everybody about my channel, and I'm here posting every Thursday. I don't know what's happening with TikTok, but I'm still on there for the time being. So you can follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Kima's Never Seen It, and you can also follow me on Blue Sky at That's Kima J. As always, I would like to express my gratitude and thank you guys so much for tuning in each week. If you just got here, this is the first video that you're seeing of me. I have more videos back there. Go ahead, check them out. Do the same thing. Like, share, subscribe. Do all the things to those ones too. But with that being said, stay classy, YouTube, and I will see you guys back here next week. Bye.